What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another match from the Raidcall Dota 2 League. This is match between Navi and Redefining Madness, aka question mark, question mark, question mark. They should just be called Riddler. But this is former mTw. This is game 1 of a best of 3 series routine, Navi and mTw, and we'll see how this match shapes up. As you all know, Navi been on a little bit of a sort of inconsistent streak. They've been winning some, they've been losing some. They've been losing to a lot of teams that you normally would expect him to beat, but you know, then he just got back from his vacation, and so I'm sure once they start practicing again, they'll be back in shape. Meanwhile, the former mTw Redefining Madness, Cinderen's lineup has not looked very strong lately, although Cinderen has repeatedly said that this lineup is more about chemistry and dedication, and that after more and more practice they will find a way to sort of gel together. But we'll see how that shapes up. Navi gonna be at the Keeper Light. They don't really like to pick Keeper Light from what I know. I mean, if they do get Keeper Light, it's mostly for Arzar. But so far, as you can tell in this game, Arzar is not playing. It is actually Follow Mag. Mag is a former Darer player. I think he was also playing for M5 or some other team, DTS or something like that. But I guess he's standing in for the Navi squad when Arzar is out of commission. And the picks and bans are just flying through as the Navi somehow managed to get their hands on Batrider. Clearly, mTw or Redefining Madness have very, very healthy fear of Hovos Lifestealer. And maybe Redefining Madness sort of has a plan against Batrider, but it's really hard to play against a Batrider. You can land him anywhere you want him to, and you can just have so many reliable forms of initiation. Jump in, get that lasso off, and goddamn, it is just super difficult to play against that hero.
10 seconds remaining.
And I think it should actually be more difficult. I think they should buff Batrider. I'm not speaking just because Batrider is my favorite hero. I'm just saying in the overall interest of game balance and mechanics, there should just be a hero who's so much better than everybody that should just be super buffed and that he should just, you know, remain badass. Mostly I'm worried about Batrider getting nerfed. Navi has been experimenting with Wisp a lot, so Redefining Madness is going to snatch up the Wisp for themselves. Of course, Wisp does synergize with a lot of heroes, whether it be Chaos Knight, Tiny, etc, etc, Nyx Assassin. You all know him, you all hate him. I love that guy. I mean, he's sort of armor plated now, and he's not really a bug anymore. He's sort of a bug, but, you know, he's just very, very clad in armor with that spiked carapace and all that jazz. Of course, you can gank all across the map, so Redefining Madness has a couple avenues to go into. They could go for a bit more aggression and go for something like a bounty hunter pick to pick up with the Nyx Assassin, or they could go for a bit more late game oriented, get Wisp with the Tiny, or they could go a bit more laning focused with the Wisp Chaos Knight combination. Really, this Wisp pick does open up a lot of avenues, but looks like Redefining Madness is going to open up their hand altogether with the Tiny pick. Maybe anticipating that Navi would ban it out in the second phase, but Navi going to ban out the Bane Elemental instead. And pretty curious to see a Bane ban. I guess they fear Bane solo mid against Batrider. Bane does do pretty well against Batrider solo mid, because the Nightmare just lasts forever. But still, Bane usually is played as a secondary support, but you know, he can be played in a different sort of circumstances. You can play it as a mid-solo, sort of a secondary support, primary support, offensive challenge, etc, etc. We've started seeing the versatility of Bane, and it's really nice to see Bane become more popular.
10 seconds remaining.
But so far on either team, not too much has really been revealed. I mean, Navi have Chen and Lone Druid, Chen for Puppy, Lone Druid for most likely Light of Heaven. So they have some push, they have some early game. Redefining Madness has late game in the form of Tiny, and they have some ganking prowess. So we're probably going to see mid-solo bans by Navi to help secure Batrider, so it wouldn't be too surprising to see if something like a Puck or Queen of Pain was banned out. But we're going to see Enchantress ban to protect that Chen. Pretty interesting. Meanwhile, Redefining Madness, they see that Lone Druid will most likely be off lane or safe lane. Probably off lane because Chen does not want to be running an aggressive challenge so much. Chen will be defensive jungle, Batrider will probably be solo mid. And yeah, so now he needs a secondary support and their primary carry. So a lot of options for them, but that's why you're seeing secondary support sort of be removed from the equation. Showdown, one of the best in the game at that capacity. We'll see if anything like a Disruptor or Venomancer is going to get banned. I was also going to say Jakiro or Leshrac could also be appropriate bans for Navi. Leshrac seems to make the most sense because they do have some push going with them, so Leshrac could help amplify the push, but in terms of lane harassment, Lesh isn't really the best, but he's not really the worst either. And man, I've just been talking on and on. These picks and bans have literally been flying through. So just want to talk a little bit about myself. Because, you listen to these commentaries to learn about Dota, but I force you, I channel into your brain random meaningless facts about my life. So I think it's time for the B-Ball minute where you get bored to death of all the random shit that's happening in my life. So this game, probably was one of the more sort of, I got back to recording this game very, very late at around 8 p.m. my time. In fact, by all is said and done, it'll probably be 9 p.m. and then I'll probably just go out and do some stuff with friends before the Super Bowl. But yeah, this game, I sort of didn't really feel like doing it, but it's sort of become a habit. So I guess that's sort of a good thing, and just sort of a way to fight through times when you don't really feel like doing commentaries. And that's a good practice to have. So yeah, I'm going to be casting this game solo, by myself, forever alone. But yeah, that's B-Ball minute. Very, very interesting. I'm sure you're all been thoroughly fascinated. As Redefining Madness is going to ban out the Undying, you know my thoughts on Undying, but I don't think it would necessarily be a proper lane support anyway unless Navi really wanted to run an aggressive trial lane with Barretter. But I don't think he's probably the best dual lane support just because he's melee, and so he can't really keep heroes back by himself. But we're going to see Navi pick up the Brewmaster, so I'm guessing it'll be a safe lane Brewmaster. Maybe they could put Barretter in the safe lane. A little bit curious to see how Navi will lane this. Maybe they're just going to put Lone Druid and do dual lanes with the Brewmaster. Put Lone Druid safe lane with Redefining farming up Chen defensive jungle or offensive jungle, and then do Brewmaster mid, Barretter off lane. I don't know. It's a little bit weird, but I think at this point it'll probably be dual lanes, Lone Druid, Chen on bot, and Brewmaster somebody else on top. Redefining Madness, Rubik was removed from the equation, so there's only a couple secondary supports, but they don't need secondary supports. They need mid-solos and off-lane heroes if they don't want to run a tri-lane. And Tiny, he does do decently in aggressive tri-lanes, but he really wants to have uninterrupted free farm because Tiny, once he does get the farm, probably one of the scariest, if not the scariest carry to deal with in the late game. But he does take quite a while to get going, and he wants to have the Aghanims up ASAP, so that List can just farm around the map with him constantly, get the attack speed going, and once Tiny finishes up the Aghanims, then he can just pretty much outfarm anybody in the game. So we'll see what Redefining Madness decides to choose for the mid-hero. Queen of Pain, Puck, both really viable options. Could choose Invoker, considering a big fan of Invoker mid. Barretter does kind of destroy Invoker these days mid, so probably won't see Invoker. Night Stalker gets crushed by Barretter mid lane. Barretter just crushes so many heroes that it seems like Puck and Queen of Pain are only the real suitable matchups if Barretter does decide to go mid lane at all. But Redefining Madness is going to pick up the Leshrac. Leshrac, I think maybe it'll be a Trilane Wisp Tiny Leshrac and put Nyx in the mid lane, but Nyx is melee. He does have mana burn to drain a lot of Barretter's mana if Barretter is the one who's getting matched up against that. Because like I said earlier, Navi has a really versatile laning lineup. But for the most part, Barretter does win that lane. Leshrac, I am a fan of getting Leshrac a bit more farm. Nyx Assassin doesn't seem like he needs necessarily more farm. But Leshrac versus Barretter, Leshrac does have higher base move speed, but he can't really kill Bat. Bat's just too tanky, even with the Edict at a respectable level. Barretter should be able to control the lane relatively well, unless Leshrac went for something like a lightning build. And we're going to see Navi pick up Lion, interesting, as that is their secondary support in conjunction with that Chen. Lion, pretty good hero. One of the heroes that sort of forces Tiny to alter is item choices. Tiny doesn't really want to get BKB until super late, maybe as his 5th or 6th item, because Tiny wants to get the Aghanims, or the Yasha, the drums, or the phase boots. But he wants to get Aghanims as his 1st or 2nd item, then get AC or Mask of Madness, Crystallis, Daedalus, and then get BKB finally after that. And Lion just sort of forces Tiny to go into BKB, which does help give Lone Druid a bit more fighting span to deal against that Tiny when Tiny doesn't really have another major damage item to combine with the Aghanim Scepter. And we're going to see Windrunner offlane for Redefining Madness. That makes a lot of sense. Again, I don't know if Navi can necessarily kill the Windrunner with their Trilane, and Windrunner, one of the more survivable sort of offlane heroes. A bit surprising not to see Bounty Hunter, because I feel like Bounty Hunter would be a pretty solid pickup against Lion, and he pairs so well with Nyx. But maybe Redefining Madness feels like against the Brewmaster they want to have a little bit more mobility, and Bounty Hunter doesn't really give them much more mobility aside from track. And they want a bit more range support, get some shackle shots, so if anybody's reinforcing the Brewmaster ganks, then that could be a possibility. But we are going to see Dendy playing that Brewmaster, so it is going to be solo mid Brewmaster. So it might be Batrider offlane, Havost. It's going to be Batrider offlane. Interesting. Because I feel like anybody that Batrider would go against in the mid lane, he'd beat. But still, it makes sense to put him in the offlane, considering that nobody else does do really, really well in that offlane role on the side of Navi. Unless it did something like Lone Druid, but Lone Druid is pretty much the only late game insurance that Navi has, and the sooner he gets his items going, the better. Shouts to Navi, nice courier. Do they have the Weasel? Oh, it's so cute. As the Weasel courier snapping up. And meanwhile, Navi not representing the Weasel courier, they're instead representing Lockjaw. But shout out to Navi, nice Cinnamon. Oh man. These guys do get along. Puppy and Cinnamon do talk Dota with Join Dota. So I'm sure Cinnamon and Navi guys are pretty much very friendly with each other. But we'll introduce the players and teams. It's going to be Puppy playing the trademark Chen. Havost is going to be playing the Lion, so Havost not being the carry, going to be playing the sort of support capacity in that Lion. Bulletproof, who is Mag, is going to be playing the Batrider. Dendy's playing the Brewmaster, and Light of Heaven is playing the Lone Druid. So having Havost playing support, a little bit weird, but it makes a bit more sense. You know, you don't really want to have, I guess, Mag sort of... Well, yeah, it makes the most sense considering Arzar is not playing in this game. I guess he has a vacation, or maybe he's just doing some other work for a bit. But I imagine Navi does do enough to get full-time salaries from them, considering their winnings and how famous the organization is just for Dota. Meanwhile, on the side of Redefining Madness, we're going to have Synderen playing the Leshrac, Dutchreek is playing the Wisp, Pepic is playing the Windrunner, Tulux is playing the Tiny, and Iconoclast, I think that might be Warlock, it might just be Iconoclast, is going to be playing the Nyx Assassin. But yeah, I know Warlock is the 5th official member of Redefining Madness. And Dendy's already going to take a lot of damage in that mid lane. Unfortunately, he does do a nice stun dodge. So Synderen is going to be a bit thwarted. But Leshrac versus Panda, I think Leshrac should win this lane. Definitely a lot better than if he was facing up against something like a Batrider. Dendy's forced to stay a little bit far back. I mean, Leshrac can't really kill the Panda, but especially with the Nyx Assassin helping him out, Dendy won't really be able to get too much farm whatsoever. He's going to get constantly stunned in place, take a lot of damage. He's not going to die right here, but still. Just proving to be super annoyed. He's forced to consistently cast Drunken Haze just to sort of prevent Leshrac from getting too much farm. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Light of Heaven is just going to have an absolute field day, and if you give Light of Heaven an absolute field day in terms of free farm, he will punish you. I think Light of Heaven's gotten the fastest radiance I've ever seen. I think in a Dota 1 game he got like something like an 11-minute radiance with boots on both his hero and his bear. So it wouldn't be too surprising to see Light of Heaven with this much free farm get a very fast radiance. But he is up against a Windrunner, and I think in the other game Light of Heaven was matched up against nobody. I'm not too sure what game that was where Light of Heaven got that super fast radiance, but still. He wasn't against anybody in his lane. Meanwhile, the top lane has been abandoned completely. Barra's like, screw you guys, I'm just gonna farm jungle creeps. Hit a fast level 2, and just sort of stacking the camps. Of course, the range creeps, making it always a big nuisance to stack these camps. I always get very irritated. But these players are good enough to sort of know the stack timings down to a pattern. And Batter will be able to hit a very, very fast level 4 if he gets a bit more regen. Or he could just flap on the cliff, but there are 2 range creep camps. As you can see, Iconoclast once again impaling Dendy right to the ground, and Dendy is not having too good of a time. So overall, the pace of the game, I think mTw does have a slight advantage in the laning phase. Again, they're winning mid lane, they're winning top lane. Bottom lane's being lost, but Windrunner managed to get some experience and get 2 denies, so that's better than nothing. So mTw, not mTw, Redefining Madness, not in the worst position, but I think in terms of mid-game, you never want to count a team with a Brew, a Chen, a Lion, a Lone Druid, or a Bat, especially with a Brew and Bat on your team and a Lone Druid to be the primary carry. So in that regard, Navi is very, very, very strong in mid-game. And even no matter how much farm mTw gets, their mid game will probably be behind Navi for the most part unless they go very aggressive in the early game. And that's what I expect Navi to do, just play for the mid game, try to get as much experience as possible. Maybe Barrett will get a fast blink die, or maybe Lone Druid will get a very fast range as he is going to go for the minus. And then just sort of gank the living daylight out of Tiny and Wisp. And Tiny playing super far back as the creeps were pulled. But looks like not too much experience will be lost for the Tiny as Wisp is doing a nice job denying. Wisp in lane, I'm always a big fan. Get more experience, get that relocate up ASAP. Also get a couple more points into that overcharge as we're already going to see First Blood being taken in most with the help of Chen. Managed to get a dive going, and since I didn't see that happen, I will rewind it because again, this is a replay cast. I can do whatever I want. So, oh, nope, people already died. Already I'm failing. Let's see. 14:45. Unpause. 2 times speed. Light of Heaven. Farming. Wants that minus. Getting a very fast minus. 3.5 minute minus. You know, some people, if they start with Gloves of Haste, get something like a 3-minute minus. I think Light of Heaven may have started with the Gloves of Haste, as I don't see any regen on him. I think he did start with the Gloves of Haste, so he's going to get that 3.5 minute minus. As we're going to see a wraparound gank. I see, that's how it happened. And there were no wards on the dire bottom lane, so Vos and Chen could easily wrap around and pick up an easy kill. And the question is, will Navi decide to push this? Windrunner is only level 2, no points in the power shot, so she literally can't do anything against this push. And that will force a rotation by a Nyx Assassin. And even then, Windrunner and Nyx Assassin can't really do anything against this push. So Navi have the potential to take down 2 towers and give Light of Heaven a huge bulk of gold very early on. So that could throw a little bit of wrench into mTw's laning patterns, as they're going to see the go call already. And my main concern with Redefining Madness is, how greedy do they want to be with Tiny? Are they going to go for Phase Boots, Drums, Yasha, and then go for Aghanim's? Not the biggest fan of Drums on Tiny. You know, I like to be as greedy as possible. But it's a good build for a reason. There's a reason why so many people use it. As Winner did skill point to power shot. I thought for a second Shackle Shot was this skill. I never play Winner. I don't like playing that hero. It's probably because I'm abysmal at Shackle Shots. That is probably the case. But we'll see how greedy Tiny decides to play it. As Barrett has rotated around, managed to hit level 3. I don't think he killed the stack. No, he didn't. As that might be given for Light of Heaven, maybe if he picks up a fast Maelstrom than anything like a Radiance. But it will most likely be for the Barrett. He's just going to apply a bit of pressure. Most likely just to sort of say, alright, we're pushing your bottom tower, but we're going to send Barrett up top lane so you can't put pressure on our top tower. As Dendy's going to get chainsed in the ground. Naya with 6, some decent blocking by Iconoclast, as unfortunately he's out of mana, going to get the mana burn off, and looks like Leshak does not want to make the commitment to dive. Ran out of vision, so Cinneren is going to be thwarted in that regard. Cinneren does have a regen, and Denny's forced to back the heck out of there. Unfortunately, he's not yet level 6, going to take a little bit of creeps before he does get to that point, but that bottom lane having an immense impact, getting an early tower kill, will definitely help out Dendy in terms of getting some items.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Light of Heaven already 1100 gold in the make after that tower kill, and the Midas, he is going to get a super fast range. Cinneren pushed in very, very aggressively. Will he get punished? No, Dendy just going to cast a Drunken Haze. And Cinneren just going to pop the regen rune. Didn't go for the lightning build, just went for the more standard Leshak build. Lightning build I think makes a bit more sense if you were doing a solo mid Leshak. But since he's a dual lane, you want to have as much damage as possible and get that stun going as well. As Cinneren is going to get jumped by Denny, and here comes Fight with rotation. Test of Faith, too good. Going to be enough to get the kill by itself with the help of one more right click by Dendy. As you can see, Leshak, not really the tankiest of heroes in that Seder Hellcar is like, man, I couldn't even get anything going in that exchange. Shockwave is just a bit too late, but Seder Hellcar, 600 mana, he doesn't mind too much. So far, despite, for the most part, Redefining Madness doing very well in the lane phase for the first 4 minutes, alas, the game does not mean anything after the first, or at the first 4 minutes. It does mean a bit, but still, a lot can change between the first 4 minutes and the rest of the game. I'm just saying. And the question is, when will Wisp roll out? Not yet level 6. Has not yet died either. Is gonna hit level 6 pretty soon. Tiny just has a magic stick. Not committing to anything just yet. Not even committing to anything like a phase boots or treads. As there's gonna be a kerfuffle in the mid lane. God, I love that word. That's such a dumb word, but it's just so awesome. As Denny gonna approach very aggressively, is finding level 6. As looks like that illusion rune gonna get completely ganked by Mag, who did finish up that creep stack and did manage to pick up level 6 very early on. And is gonna have a fast blink dagger by the looks of it. Or not really a fast blink dagger, but relatively our normal timing. Maybe 13, 14 minutes, which is pretty normal timing these days for a jungle bat. But yeah, ex-mTw, or the former ex-mTw, can't really apply too much pressure. They only have Wisp and Tiny. So Dutch Freak are gonna hide in the fog. Not at level 6. Navi, I assume, once Wisp does hit level 6, they're just gonna play a lot more carefully and try to defend Light of Heaven as much as possible. You know, Light of Heaven, gonna go for the Tranquil Boots rather than being super greedy. Gonna give some regen, gonna give some movement speed, definitely help him to survive some ganks that might come in if Wisp does decide to go on the ganking party. As meanwhile, Pepic has rotated to the middle lane. Edict doing a lot of damage, but unfortunately, Chen is there with Dendi, and they do stop the ultimate. So really, I don't see Redefining Madness taking this tower, but still, they gotta do something. They want to get some map control and try to open up more avenues to initiate onto Vost, as there's gonna be rotation by Iconoclast. Not level 6, super poor, as there's a primal split with a net. Dendi's already gonna go on the initiation, as looks like the Spike Carapace has already been used. Iconoclast is gonna die with, unfortunately, without getting the Impale. Vost does rotate back middle, as here comes Mag. And this might mean the life of the tier 1 tower. It's still at full HP, so I don't think it necessarily will fall just yet. As the pause does happen, looks like no fights are about to break out, so not, you know, a super annoying pause, but still, any pause is a very annoying pause. As looks like Tiny did commit to those treads, and usually with treads you don't go into drums because you have access to the tread switch, which gives you a bit more mana. You get a bit more attack speed, you get a bit more strength with the tread switch, so I don't think we'll see Tiny getting drums this game. The question is who will. Maybe the Nyx or the Wisp, but Nyx is just dirt poor. Poorer than a Shadow Demon. I thought for a second that was a negative sign on NA. I was like, really? Negative 215 net worth? That would be impressive. But no, just 215 net worth at this point. Very, very shoddy net worth. But he has been the primary support, and he's been doing his job, helped to sort of get Leshak a lot of free farm. And the question is, what will Leshak do with that free farm? As here comes a gank by Tux. They're going to go on to Vost, and there's an easy kill. Tiny does pick up the last set, and he's just going to go teleport back to the top lane, continue to farm. So a nice rebuttal kill by Redefining Madness. Unfortunately, no creeps in the immediate vicinity for Tiny to farm up, and there's going to be teleport by Batrider to defend this tower. Batrider getting very, very close to the blink dagger. Might get it around the 11 to 12 minute mark. He'll pick it up very, very soon. And that could be trouble, considering Pen is having a miserable time. As looks like Denny is going to get ganked. Does manage to get the Thunderclap going, but looks like Spike Carapace was mistimed a little bit. Otherwise, Dendy most likely would have died. As there is going to be a nice Hex on to Cinnamon. Unfortunately, they cannot keep up the pursuit on Cinnamon. And Cinnamon 0-1. And what will he go for? Will he go for Arcane Boots? Will he pick up a point booster? Go for that fast Bloodstone? I think that is what he's going to go for. No, just going to get the Arcane Boots. Not really indicating anything at this point. He might actually get the drums for Redefining Madness in this game. And Light of Heaven. Continue to farm up. No Tranquil Boots, interestingly enough, on any hero. Or the bear. Doesn't even have the fluffy little panda bear. As Light of Heaven, too badass. Besides, panda bears don't even live in Russia. They live in China. Russia, they fight and wrestle brown bears or grizzly bears, which don't actually live in Russia anyway. But they fight bears mano e mano, or barrow e barrow. That should be the more appropriate term. In fact, I'm gonna now coin that phrase. That is now trademarked to be ballin'. Barrow e barrow. So, Cinnamon, Arcane Boots, good stuff. Batrider, Blink Dagger, 50 gold. Gonna get it around the 11 minute mark, and that's pretty fast considering Batrider has not been spending all his time in the jungle. But again, the tower kill did help him out quite a bit. And really, will Redefining Madness finally apply a bit of pressure to his bottom lane? Looks like they do not have any indication of doing so. They just want to have as much safe farm for Tulux as possible. Gonna go for that Agnes build. So it's gonna skip the drums in the Yash for now, as Barrett does have the dagger, and that's gonna mean that Tiny will be in a bit more danger. It's gonna be blinking on the Windrunner. As soon as he picks up the dagger, immediately picks up a kill. That is how you want to be playing Barrett. It's going to be a teleport, relocate, gank down on the bottom lane. Can they actually kill anybody? It looks like Dutch Freak is going to get netted to the ground. They're going to pick up the Chen. Light of Heaven is on the escape. Can he actually escape? One more hit by the Wisp does pick up the kill. Dutch Freak is going to get netted in place, and that means Tulix does not have an avenue to escape back out of there. But Dendy's going to be in the middle of everything. Does he have promise? So he's going to get chased into the ground. He's out of mana as Tulix is going to get another last hit. Here comes Vost with the return kill. What will Tulix do? He does pick up a kill on Nyx Assassin. And here comes the Avalanche, but unfortunately is going to pay for it with his life. Cinnamon doing so much damage with Lightning Storm and Split Earth, but unfortunately not enough. But here comes the rotation by Pepik. He died so early on, and Mag is going to die as well. No, can he actually escape? Hand of God is going to save the life of Mag as wind running as fast as possible. Unfortunately, could not get the full damage on the power shot, but Mag ends up dying nonetheless. So that gank went very, very well for Redefining Madness. Tiny was able to get a decent number of kills and experience. Got one kill at the very least. And very important is that Siren did not die. Meanwhile, I think everybody on Navi did die. Yeah, everybody did die. Chen, Havost, Panda, Bat, and Londred all did die in that engagement. Meanwhile, I think everybody except Leshak died. So, yeah, that was in favor of Redefining Madness taking that team fight. And initially, when I thought the relocate came in after Batter already picked up a kill and winner, I was thinking, oh man, this is going to be a nightmare for Redefining Madness. But unfortunately, Dendy not adding mana proved to be a pivotal part of that engagement. They really wanted to have that pen ultimate, but a little bit of missed mana management, or maybe it was the mana burn by NA. It might have been that. Drained so much of Dendy's mana, meant that he couldn't really do anything. As looks like Tulix immediately gets another kill with the Wisp teleport in, and Wisp is going to be tethered to the ground for another 2 seconds, but is just going to get the heck out of there. Man, I'm underestimating Wisp cooldown. I tell you, you do see a giant dot on the map when Wisp does get his teleport going, but still. It's very unexpected, especially since Tiny kills people so fast. And Light of Heaven has died 2 times in the past 2 minutes. Very, very unfortunate for Navi, as he is pretty much their only carry. As looks like Leshak did claim the middle tower, and Tiny's going to claim the top tower, so that is going to mean Aghanims will be up for the Tiny, and that means free farming Tiny is going to be an option. And I'm a bit surprised to see that the Redefining Madness supports aren't stacking, but it's sort of understandable because, you know, that's only really a no-title thing, and also they need all the heroes they can get, especially in dealing with the Navi in these small skirmish engagements. So Redefining Madness is playing very, very well at this point, have a tower lead, and have a significant carry advantage at this point because Tiny already picked up Aghanim Scepter before Light of Heaven could pick up anything like the Radiance. And you can see how scared Light of Heaven is playing without any teammate backup. He's not even approaching to use his Animus, he's actually just going into safety of his own jungle to get that Midas Creep. But again, Mag does have that Blink Dagger, can start going to other items, whether it be Force Staff or just helping out on the ward duty, which it seems like he is doing. Meanwhile, what does Havost have? Has that urn. And using Sticky Napalm to get sight. Nicely done by Mag. Sticky Napalm, Firefly, and Flame Break all give vision. Firefly makes you flying vision, and the projectiles from both Sticky Napalm and Flame Break do give you vision on the distance it does travel. So nifty little trick you can do. And now you can see the overcharge and the Tiny going to work with that farm, as it's not a really full-fledged Tiny. It's just sort of mini Tiny. But here comes the push by Navi. They do have the better team fight. They still do have the better mid game, considering that the ultimate, they had the Blink Dagger up on Barrier, and Light of Heaven is still very difficult to bring down. But it looks like Redefining doing a nice job defending the tower for now. Navi really haven't committed. It's a bit difficult to commit because they don't have anything like a mechanism on their side just yet. Puppy is going to have that up in about 50 gold, but until he gets it, it's going to be pretty difficult to push in unless Barrier goes in balls deep with the Blink Dagger initiation. But considering it's 16 minutes and he only has 967 HP, he might end up sacrificing his life for that initiation, As looks like Leshrac might go for BKB, might go for Aghanims, probably BKB. As I don't see Aghanims Leshrac very much at all. They haven't followed the B-Ball build, where it's get Aghanims before you get any points to the ultimate, which I actually did in a couple of my Pubtastic adventures. Pretty silly by me, I must confess. NA level 8, again playing the primary warder. And just look at the net worth of Tiny climbing and climbing, as there's going to be initiation onto Siren. Siren almost got away, but still Lasso was able to find him in place. Finger of Death, Test of Faith means an easy Leshrac kill. And that's going to eliminate a lot of Redefining's early game team fight. Leshrac got so much farm, got a lot of levels into everything. And Siren's going to actually buy it back. They really want to defend this tower, because they know the more towers they have, the more map control Wisp Tiny will have to farm up without too much hindrance. And Tulix is going to take advantage of that, already picking up the play mail, going very, very fast in the AC. And the question is, where is Light of Heaven going? Looks like he is staying up for the relic. Again, those 2 deaths really, really hurt Light of Heaven quite a bit, as he might get a 18-19 minute radiance at this rate, when Tiny already might have couple more components of that AC finished. So at this point, it's not looking that good for Navi, but Navi's mid-game is so powerful. They finally had the mechanism up. They're going to have the relic up very, very soon. They had the Panda ultimate up. Is Panda level 11? He's going to have it up very, very soon. And once they have the Panda ultimate up at level 11, it might be time to go for the engagement. It is going to be a Wisp teleport in with the Tiny. NA immediately picks up kill. Can they kill the Wisp to prevent Tiny from escaping? Barter blinks in, and looks like Wisp is going to sacrifice his life for the greater glory of the Dire squad. Actually, Cyclone is going to send up into the air. Are Dire actually going to contest this? Spike Carapace doing a lot of work, but the Avalanche does complete a whiff, and here comes Lasso. Tulix is going to be held in place. That might be a bit of an overplay by Tulix, but he might be able to escape. Shackle Shot does fly in, securing Mag to a tree for quite a bit, but here comes Live Him on the pursuit. Still at full HP. Siren does have a lot of mana, and Winnar is here as well with her own mecha, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange. Lion for a Wisp. But Wisp dying means that Tiny can't really farm as fully as he'd like to. As look at the wards by Redefining Madness, they have a lot more wards than the Navi squad at this point, looking for every avenue to sort of go in and gank with that Wisp Tiny combo and get so many kills. Checking out the GPM, Tiny has not yet cracked that 500, but it's pretty difficult to crack 500 GPM at only the 18-minute mark. Last hits, Tiny miles ahead of the Lone Druid. A full 35 last hits ahead of the Lone Druid at this point. And the Panda ultimate is on cooldown for a little bit, for a minute and a half. So this is not looking that great for Navi, as they're going to try to push in. Light of Heaven is getting very, very close to that relic, but it's actually going to be a 22-minute radiance by the looks of it. Because again, his farm has been slowed. He's constantly in the middle of everything. Actually, you know, he might get a faster one because of this tower kill. If Redefining do not choose to defend this, but no, they are going to defend this. They know Brewmaster ultimate is on cooldown. Lasso probably on cooldown. No, it's back up. We'll see if Mag decides to get a level 11 for that shorter cooldown of Lasso before he tries to take the next engagement. Looks like that is what he's thinking. Gonna just clear up this camp and get level 11 very, very soon. And Tiny just healing up to full HP, knowing that, okay, I was at half HP for a bit, and Wisp doesn't have any earn charges. I might as well just heal up and try to be as protected as possible, because right now I'm just farming super well at this point.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And here comes the Wisp Tiny combination, easily cleaning up a tower. Actually, Dutch Freak managed to snipe that last hit. It would have been a free last hit for the Tiny, giving him 500 gold, but Tiny is going to be thwarted in that endeavor, as there is going to be a blink initiation by Mag level 11, so it's a short cooldown last, as well as a long duration. Cinnamon immediately the first one to fall, and here comes the blink dagger by Dendy. Was not expecting that whatsoever, as there is going to be a rebuttal kill, and they do have the Brewmaster ultimate. They could potentially take a tier 2. Synderen, unfortunately, being in the wrong place at the wrong time means that this tier 2 tower will fall very, very quickly. one of the downfalls of Tiny is that to venture up close and personal to sort of clear out a creep wave. And Windrunner can't really hold at the fort by herself, especially with the Blink Dagger on both the Battler and the Brewmaster. So this might mean access into Roshan engagement for Na'Vi. They do still have the Brew ultimate, they still have, well, Finger Death's on cooldown, but they will have the lasso up very, very soon. So Na'Vi evening out the score a little bit. You can see Gold going to take a little bit of an upswing in favor of Na'Vi with those 2 tower kills. And looks like Tiny might be in for a world of hurt. Does he have a TP skull? He does. He might just have to get the heck out of there, as there is a Dire Ward spotting out these creeps dying. So Tiny immediately going to back the heck out, but now they know the jungle has been compromised. Delta, the jungle has been compromised. It's going to be a Firefly, getting that flying vision, going to get the initiation onto the Windrunner. Here comes the Primal Slick, going to help lock Windrunner in place, but Night Shackle Shot going to delay a lot of barriers damage, as soon as it's going to get sent up the enemy. Tiny immediately picks off Chen at the beginning of the engagement. Where is Whis? Whis is going to get held to the ground. Whis is going to be the next one to fall, and looks like Brewmaster unable to get too many kills going on at this point. Peppy very, very low in terms of HP, but Dendy finally goes back into the normal Brewmaster form. Flamebreak is going to help secure the kill. No, it just barely was. Cern trying to get back and engage it. Did Cern actually buy back? No, he did not. He actually did not die. Gonna pick off Mag. Was just tethering all over the place. Tiny very low into his HP, and mTw 2 for 2, actually 3 for 2 in that exchange. mTw coming out on top in these small scale engagements, even with the help of Master Ultimate, and that does not bode well for Na'Vi, because Tiny's gonna get more and more powerful, and Cern can sustain himself a lot more powerfully. Once he gets that BKB, he can stay in the middle of these team fights, and only Lasso and Entangle go through the BKB, and unfortunately for Light of Heaven Spirit Bear, I have yet to see any Entangles get on Admiral Bulldog status Light of Heaven. No Entangles? Come on. Gotta get Admiral to teach you the way of the bear, because Admiral always seems to get like first or second hit Entangles and get them constantly. But Na'Vi losing that engagement 3-2 using a Brewmaster ultimate, and Tiny did not die. Gonna be very close to that AC. Is gonna have it up in about 700 gold. Once it's the AC, can tank Light of Heaven. Unfortunately, Lion is still definitely something to be worried about for Tiny, as I imagine a lot of that disables will start going on to Tiny once that AC has been finished. You know, NA playing the primary ward bitch. Still with Arcane Boots because of those towers. And I finding it very difficult to actually de-ward because he is a lowly melee hero. As Puppy gonna scout the Roshan. I think they know Synderen and the Redefining Madness guys are not Roshaning in, because Synderen was helping to kill that skeleton, but now Tiny's there with reinforcement, and the urn will constantly heal up Tiny. So it's going to be a tower trade for a Roshan, and if Navi can get more than one tower, it'll definitely worthwhile for Navi. But as it is, looks like Redefining going to come out yet again in this exchange, and Aegis on Tiny means he can just stand in, hitting everything with his trees. But again, sort of underestimating the power of Lion. And so after AC, I think it would be in Tiny's best interest to go right for that BKB, rather than anything like a Crystallis or a Mask of Madness. Because if Lion could just get those hexes rolling, if a Brewmaster can disable the Tiny for a good 10 seconds with the double Cyclone, it could be trouble for the Tiny, as Reigns has finally been finished on Light of Heaven. Light of Heaven's just like, man, I hate all these team fights, I hate being part of this team, I just want to farm up and get my rates, as it was a very late Radiance. No Tranquil Boots on the bear, so does he have a second bear? He does have a second bear, so that will allow Navi to potentially push in. Again, they have the double dagger up. Dandy gonna go for the Aghanims. Mag gonna get the Firefly Vision, as here comes initiation on the Siren. Yet again, Siren gonna die. Does have buyback, will he use it? He is gonna use it, but it looks like Tiny is gonna get sent up into the air by the Wind Panda. And Lone Druid does pick off the Wisp, so already fight is going very, very much in favor of Navi, as it looks like the Mechanism and Hand of God gonna give Navi so much sustainability, but Light of Heaven is gonna get whacked to death by that Mighty Tree Trunk, and Tiny still has Aegis. So it's gonna be 2 for 2 with a buyback by Synderen. But Navi now looking most comfortable in these engagements. We're starting to see The mid-game prowess of Navi is starting to die out a little bit. Chen did so much work in that fight, healing for 500 points of damage. But Navi can feel a little bit better. I think they know that since it around buyback, that definitely turned the tides a little bit in Redefining Madness. It was an even exchange overall, all things considered, and he won't buyback for the next team fight. So that might give Navi a little bit more hope. But again, Tiny's going to get very, very powerful. And what will he go for? Again, I advocate the BKB, sort of force out the lasso. Or at the very least, allow him to actually hit things rather than being sent up into the air for 80 minutes by that Brewmaster. But this tower going to take significant damage. A couple more hits with the Edict and the Tiny. Means these towers absolutely melt. As Chen with the tactical pause. Shackle Shot is going to fly in. And it is going to hit Havost, staying right in front of a tree. So that's very unfortunate for Havost. As both teams call go, Havost already going to be in a lot of trouble. Barrett does have the Blink Dagger lasso, as looks like the Shackle Shot does not latch. As here comes the initiation by Dendy. Lasso is immediately going to pick up a kill onto Nyx, as 2x is just going to stay back for a little bit. And Navi going to defend this tower. Wisp might be the next one to die. Flamebreak is going to push the Wisp back with the Napalm. Savos trying to get out of the way. It's going to be 1-0 thus far, as Lone Druid does get a tower denied. But here comes 2x. Unfortunately, a little bit of delayed reactions, but nice reactions by Mag to get the heck out of there. And why are Redefining Madness sticking around for so long? That is the question, as it looks like Chen is going to pick off Dutch Freak. I guess they want to make the most of this Aegis, but it might come back to haunt them. As Brewmaster and just the ridiculous sustainability by Navi going to pick up some kills. And looks like Redefining Madness have drastically overestimated their welcome. And the Entangle going to finally root 2x to the ground. These Entangles finally coming through. The slow by the Chen creeps the Entangles all too much. And man, I think once that tower deny happened, it was cue for Redefining to get the heck out of there. But they got greedy. They want to use the Aegis. But they still had, you know, 3.5 minutes left on the Aegis. So I don't understand that greed. And Leshrak has just lost so much gold in these engagements. Was that 2k, then bought back, and then died, and all they got was a measly tower deny. Ventured into the rain side of the map, and all I got was a lousy little t-shirt and the tower deny. 100 hits level 16, has that Vladimir's up. And keep in mind, Navi fought that fight without the Brewmaster ultimate. And he's gonna have the 26-second duration of the ultimate up very, very soon. That is so annoying with the Aghanims and the level 16, 26 seconds of Brewmaster ultimates. Very tanky Brewmaster ultimates that can't necessarily be right-clicked down by the Tiny at this point. Will just run around, disabling everything, and winning teamfights. So Navi, in a sudden change of events, now seem like they have the upper hand. But still, never count out Tiny in the late game, and 2x is making the smarter item decision. Gonna go for that BKB. Again, I already expanded on the merits of BKB, but one of the problems, again, dealing with that Brewmaster is that so many of your heroes will be disabled that it's gonna be very difficult, as it looks like Barrett gonna blink in. Just gonna back off. As where is Brewmaster? Is he level 16 just yet? No, still at level 15. Naya with the Aghanims. As Nami gonna apply a bit of pressure, but the double tornado is gonna fly in, constantly scanning away, to slowing him down, draining his HP slowly but surely. Gonna be very annoying for Windrunner and Leshrak as well, not really the tankiest of heroes. And this is gonna mean a free tower for Navi, as there comes a blanket by Mag yet again, force-staffing Pepik into her death, and that means no mecha up for 55 seconds. I didn't know Pepik was so highly leveled, but no mecha up at only the cost for a lasso. Does Pepik have buyback? She does not. And Brewmaster ultimate is up. It's gonna be very difficult for Redefining to defend this, but they're gonna have to try. The Lightning Storm doing an admirable job clearing out the creep wave, but Mechanism just getting popped in, giving the creeps armor, gonna give them some HP. Glyph has been forced out. Looks like Pepic will respond very, very soon. Meanwhile, Tiny and Wisp doing the smart thing, knowing that all 5 of Navi heroes, for the most part, are just going to farm up there. They're just going to farm Navi's jungle. Get some gold. Tiny getting pretty close to that BK. We'll have it in about 1300 gold. Meanwhile, Havost has that shorter cooldown on Finger. Gonna go for BKB himself, but might just end up paying for it with his life. Gets a nice Hex off. Nice reactions by Havost. That instant cast of Hex to number. But it looks like Tiny and Wisp will escape with their lives. As Mag gonna cancel the TP. That is light of him to farm up now with a Maelstrom to his name. No, wasn't a Maelstrom. I thought I saw lightning emanate from the bear paws, but it looks like he is going for that AC. Will help to push out immensely. So I don't know who has the advantage. I think it's slightly in favor of Navi. If once they get the Brewmaster ultimate, considering Tiny's still a bit away from his BKB. Gold graph indicates that Navi is out on top. Experience graph pretty close. Keep in mind both of these differences can be easily overcome in a Dota game, especially around the 30-minute mark. But just looking at overall the game situation, is that an Aghanim Scepter? That is an Aghanim Scepter on both the Chen and on the Brewmaster. Dude is not even checking out Chen's farm. Double Hand of God in these long duration team fights. Considering Brewmaster can be an ultimate farm for 26 seconds, 30 second cooldown, 30 second cooldown on that Scepter. Aghanims is the name of the game for Navi. And now they have low 16. They're gonna have the double, essentially around 900 points of healing in a team fight. Tiny can't do it all, as I think these items might give Navi the edge in these engagements. As Tiny and Wisp not even pressuring the bottom tower. And keep in mind the Glyph is on cooldown. Does Light of Heaven have 2 bears stocked up? He does. As this bear pretty close to dying.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But every second that Navi's not pushing in does give Tiny more time to farm up. Now with the fish, BKB can start going a bit more aggressive, going for something like a Chrysalis next, I imagine. Probably the most logical choice. BKB hasn't been fished on Syrian just yet. Will be up in about 500 gold. That's pretty big against Panda. Still, NA is suffering. Gonna go for a 4-staff Windrunner. Pretty far away from our Hex. Wisp gonna go for those drums whenever you can find the money. But overall, in terms of items, Navi has a better advantage. As looks like Brewmaster gonna go for that Refresher Orb. And if they get 52 seconds of Panda Ultimate, I'm just gonna get nightmares. Because that is so annoying to deal with. Vost, I imagine, getting close to his BKB. No, just gonna pick up Bracer. I think that Bracer just means Navi wants to push in ASAP. They know Roshan will respond very, very soon. They know Wisp and Tiny can just melt down that Roshan very, very quickly, so they want to apply a bit of pressure, get the map control, get the equilibrium back on their side before Roshan responds. If they can take a Rax while doing that, all the better. As does Navi have buyback? They do not. They're using all their gold. They want to push in. They don't want to deal with Wisp Tiny for anymore.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
As it looks like, yeah, Brewmaster is going to go for that Refresher. I was like, is it going Yils? No, it's going to be that Refresher. Mag 15, going to go for that BKB. Light of Heaven, Vlad's AC not yet finished, but again, they know Roshan will be respawning very, very soon. Actually could potentially pick up the AC if you want to right about now. Might be okay for Navi to actually just wait out the AC, and looks like it is on its way. And look, unfortunately, Wisp and Tiny can't really venture out nearly as far as they want to. Actually, if you want to be super greedy, you can just sort of teleport in and try to claim this tier 2. But once they get relocated back, that might be 12 seconds where their team just gets utterly mauled by everybody, and 2v5 is not a good situation for Redefining Madness. And it's double Aghanims up, and looks like Navi going to camp the hill, but Winner does reveal the fact that they know. BKB's finished up on Cern. Any buyback on any of the heroes? Tiny probably won't have buyback if he dies. So both teams playing for broke except for Windrunner. And Navi know they have the map control at this point, And looks like Redefining Madness is going to be the first ones to blink. They want to go in. Smoke and Seed's been popped. As looks like the creeps are just going to stand on the cliff. Leshak is going to reveal himself, revealing the fact that he has smoke. As those wolves, those wildkins, or war chiefs, whatever, as there's going to be a blink initiation by Danny, going to get 3 people in his thunderclap, going to send everybody up in the air. Double Trainer is going to fly in, Sarah trying to do whatever he can, Tulix trying to do whatever he can, but unfortunately cannot stand up against a mighty match of Na'Vi, as the bear is entangling Tulix to the ground, and Tulix cannot even bring down a single person on the side of Na'Vi. And they didn't even have to use Double Hand of God. Wow. I'm half tempted to just rewind that to see where that teamfight went so drastically wrong. But you can sort of see it. Danny got 3-man clap. The positioning that Na'Vi forced Redefining Madness into was just very abysmal for Redefining Madness. Tiny wants to be in your face. And he could not do that. He was getting entangled by the bear. That 3-man clap, the double the cyclones by both of these wild kings or wild wings or whatever they're called now. The cyclones by the brewmaster, the lasso, everything just finished out in a perfect storm in favor of Na'Vi. And man, it's not looking good for Redefining. They might just end up losing game number 1. As they are going to lose 2 barracks. Will they lose the 3rd? I think Na'Vi, if they want to fight this, they can potentially do so, as there's going to be a liquidation decision by Mag yet again. Going to kill off Cinerin once again. Brewmaster Ultimate will be up in 30 seconds, but here comes Tiny, trying to do whatever he can, but they're just going to kite him to no end. As Tiny is just going to be one sad rock. And Dandy's going to get shackled, but still, Dandy, as the Hand of God, has a mechanism to heal him back up. Looks like Dandy does manage to die, but Tulix is just going to get relentlessly kited. 5 stacks. Barrett are going to pick up a very easy kill. No buyback on Tiny. Or he will have buyback. He's going to have to buy back. He's going to have to buy back, otherwise Redefining just lose. As looks like Evan is going to get pushed away. But here comes the initiation back onto Pepic. And he's going to get lassoed up. Tiny's going to go in, but now all his allies are dead. Leshak has respawned. Light of Heaven is going to take a lot of tree trunks. Max right to the face, but does have the Aegis. Entangles this bear. Does not want to let Light of Heaven be in too much trouble. Going to morph back into true form, but they're going to take so much damage while doing so. And looks like Redefining. Oh, Puppy Chen. Ladies and gentlemen, Puppy Chen sending people back in the nick of time. Puppy phone home, everybody. Not AT, it was actually Puppy. And 2 barracks down, buyback by Tiny. And this is Redefining's only shot. They have to push in, but Brewmaster's gonna respond with that 26-second ultimate. Only person who's dead is Barrett, but he has buyback. He can buy back and blink in with Lasso. But again, it's not really like Redefining have too much of a choice at this point, otherwise the Lone Druid with the Chan with so much healing can just push in. And I may have overestimated Redefining Madness's late game a bit, because I wasn't anticipating on the Scepter on Chen. That makes him a late game hero by himself. Brewmaster finishes the refresher. Blink in by Dandy. 26 seconds. It's going to be 52 seconds very, very soon. 2x is going to be held to the ground for quite a bit. Going to BKB up. Going to try to bring down Light of Heaven. Light of Heaven is going to take the bulk of the damage on side 9. But once again, Chen phones home, sending back Lone Druid. And Dandy going to get back into the Brewmaster form very, very soon. 2x trying to do whatever he can. As, oh man, he's just going to get relentlessly kited. And Dandy, will he pop the refresher and go back in? Not even necessary. GG well played are called by Redefining Madness, as they just got overwhelmed by Na'Vi. And I think the major point was Redefining pushing in, trying to use that Aegis, but unfortunately got too greedy. And that gave Na'Vi a much needed boost in terms of momentum. Just checking out the endgame goal graph, 20k on both sides. As GGs are called all around. That means we'll move on to game 2, but we actually won't, because it's actually one side. Na'Vi won, and they took the series 2-0. So Redefining, once again, trying to find their groove, but unfortunately miss it in this series altogether. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy this cast as usual. And GEST is taking place, so Dota 1 in the future. It will be happening. And as always, I will probably put out a vlog very, very shortly detailing a bit more of my plans. But as it is, hope you enjoy this cast. Go out and have some fun, guys. It's Saturday. Unless you're an international viewer, where I hope you're already having fun or already had fun. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace. Dancing pandas, dancing bats, an appropriate end to the game. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.